Welcome to the Warsquared Fantasy Football Podcast, a full-service year-round podcast with weekly episodes to provide fans with info on their teams and players. Whether you're a newbie or a longtime veteran of the fantasy wars, Warsquared is the podcast for you. Welcome into the post-AFC-NFC Championship podcast. We now have our Super Bowl matchups. And we're going to pull a quick switcheroo, and we're going to go to the game that came in the evening time. Play it!
Arrowhead my ass! Woo! It's Mahomes' house! Hey! Oh, you're rolling! Shut your mouth! You jabroni!
Is that you, Tobin, making that noise?
Woo!
That was you, wasn't it?
Woo!
The Nature Boys in Kansas City are in the basement with us tonight.
Styling and profiling. Chiefs 23, Bengals 20.
Don't do that walk, Tobin. Sit down.
Patrick Mahomes, 326 and 2, 8 rushing yards, but a costly fumble that nearly cost the Chiefs the game, but got the win after running out of bounds, getting pushed for a semi-controversial roughing penalty, and then Butker kicks the 45-yard game winner.
I mean, he was both feet out of bounds and across the white. If you look at the high all 22, he was all the way across the white before he got the push.
There's no doubt that he touched him, but I think he was trying to basically keep him from getting ran completely the frack over. I don't think it was. I think he was trying to save him more than he was trying to hurt him.
Saving him by two hands, shoving the back. That's a hard sell,
It
Doc.
was only one hand, not both.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like he was trying to pull up and avoid him.
I'll go with a lot of the other calls that might have been debated in that game way before I'll go with this one.
And my question is, why didn't they call the hold on that play?
What hold?
What hold? Your left tackle had an arm lock on a guy, and then he put it into a bulldog and slammed him to the ground with a pile driver.
Slam him into the ground.
Are you going back to what Trent Williams did to the dude? Are you confusing the games?
No.
Are you got wires crossed up there
Your
again?
left tackle had him in a headlock.
Are you high?
Bulldogged him
Good
and then
call.
pile drive him to the ground behind Mahomes.
He
The
did
referee
not
went,
pile drive him. Hendrickson was running along after the play. He did not pile drive him. He did maybe have a hold on him, but it was very close.
Hang on. Travis is calling. He's got something for you.
Practice. Oh, you're rolling! Shut your mouth! You jabroni!
It didn't get called, therefore it wasn't a hold. But it's like, man, if I ever hear a Chief fan complain about the refs again,
Oh, come on.
I want to go back and say, go back and look the tape from this game and be quiet. Know your role. Shut up, jabroni.
Now, of course, the other controversy from this was really the do-over mulligan that the
You mean the
Chiefs
third
got.
and 9?
The third and 9 times 2, right?
Well, I mean, if they don't know how to run the clock, I mean, they'd have done the same thing if it was the Bengals ball. I mean, the ref. If you look at the high angle, the back judge came flying in. Nobody saw him. You couldn't hear a damn thing in the stadium, even when the Chiefs had the ball.
This is the home team, isn't it?
I mean, the dude. I mean, play before that, incomplete to McKinnon. They had to re-spot the ball for some reason, which I'm like, what? How the hell do you miss-spot it by a half yard on an incomplete pass? Not rocket science. But he said, comes in, he sets it back to 10 seconds, and he said the play clock and the game clock will start on my whistle.
Right.
And he rolled it. Incomplete pass. Game clock does not start. It's correct. I mean, the ref from the back, one of those dudes knew how to run the clock.
Defensive holding, first down.
On the do-over.
I mean, was it not holding? Holy crap.
It was holding.
I mean, he did everything but tackle him. The only tackle Eli Apple had all night.
Now,
Kind of like on the last play of the game when Mahomes got hit out of bounds with the tackle that took place in the backfield with hold.
I didn't see that one.
A tackle. It was
a tackle.
It was close to being a hold. No, it was not a tackle.
It wasn't. Go back and watch it. It was a tackle.
I've watched it several times. I guarantee I've watched it more than you have.
Go back and watch them block Frank Clark the whole game.
Well,
he got held 90% of the plays.
Yeah. Any play. My main complaint about the NFL is one and one only. They have so damn many rules they can throw a flag on every single play, and they usually choose not to, or it's a hold on a guy who's down the field, doesn't even affect the play when it's a off tackle dive.
I agree with you. There is a huge inconsistency in what is called illegal contact in a playoff game, or especially at the end of a game, versus what it is any other time in the season.
Yeah, it's just like NBA basketball. The last play of the game, brother's going to get nailed. Not going to be called though.
Yeah, I mean,
LeBron.
you hate to see that come out at that point. Either way,
Call it
But
the
I
same
think
play
at the
all the
same
way through.
point, had the roles been reversed, and it was the Chief shoving Burrow on the other side of the white, I wouldn't like it. But
Yeah.
yes, that's a
Well,
foul.
now,
But you forgot they
you
would have
saw it in the
called
earlier
a
game.
hold in the backfield at that point.
Oh,
in time.
come on.
You did see a two-hand shove out of bounds on a quarterback in the first game. Hufanga did it to Hurts and got him closer to basically got him to a Hurts touchdown. But
That one was over with before that.
let's go back to the Chiefs and the Bengals. The Bengals held the Chiefs to 42 yards rushing, and the Chiefs receivers were dropping like flies. I mean, they ended up with, I don't remember, Mike Ward. Was that who the one guy was? And Sky Moore had to come in to play receiver because they didn't have anybody else. No Tony,
They were down to their fifth,
no
they were down to
Schuster,
sixth
no
and seventh wide
Hardman.
receivers.
Yeah.
The depth they showed was amazing, and Patrick being able to hit them for plays shows you how good Patrick Mahomes is.
On one leg.
Kelsey 7 for 78 and a touchdown. MVS 6 for 116 and one to. And the other thing that pisses me off is you've got these idiots, Nance and Romo, spouting off things that they've got people telling them.
Yeah.
Juju Smith-Schuster's contract is up after this year, not MVS. He's a 3-year contract.
Right.
3-year, $30 million. That's what he got. So don't say MVS is a free agent after this season, Tony Romo.
Well, Tony Romo almost said the N-word during the broadcast as well.
Allegedly.
Did they
right.
kill his mic,
Yes.
or are they that good that they killed his mic?
There's probably a little bit of a delay, not much,
yeah.
but some. I mean, it was.
All over social media. He what? What was that, Tony?
It was. It's interesting to see what the ramifications are for that dropping of his mic.
Well, hell, he'll probably get a raise.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, one of the other, of course, the big thing that they've been talking about is how bad he has gotten. He is in total DGF mode. You know,
He's done this. Put this thing in the envelope because he's melted that puppy in.
yeah, probably so. The other thing, now Burrow did do a great job of bringing the Bengals back. He had 270 yards and a touchdown and 30 yards rushing. He threw the touchdown to T. Higgins, 6 for 83 and 1. A lot of people out there, should the Giants trade for T. Higgins,
They're going to have to pay a lot to get him.
they're talking a first and a third. Would you give that up for T. Higgins?
I don't know. Tennessee gave that up for A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I don't think I'd give that
That's
up for
exactly
T.
what-
Higgins.
I mean, that's the whole concern is T. Higgins, T. Higgins to me, he's
Tall, fast, and got great hands.
He's not a number one.
he is Gabe Davis. He is
He benefits
Corey
greatly
Davis.
from all the attention that Jamar Chase takes.
There's no doubt that he does.
he can have great games, but he is not going to be the number one guy.
Is he Kenny Galladay?
He is. They've already got Kenny.
I mean, is number one on the Giants because the Giants don't have anything.
Oh, he's number 1 through 8 on the Giants by himself.
Yeah.
At one time.
I mean, but as far as a true gamer, number one NFL top dog, a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, a Cooper Kupp, no,
no,
not even
I
close.
agree. I
Yeah,
totally
I agree with that. But is he worth a first and a third? If I was the Cincinnati Bengals, I'd trade him.
Maybe
Because-
a second and a third, but I don't think I can give up a
Because
first.
that
there.
solves two issues. One, it gives you can go draft another young receiver and solves the salary cap hell you're going to be in trying to pay all three: Burrow, Higgins, and Chase.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. If somebody offers you that deal, you take it.
Turn the card in because we're done.
And outside of the huge 4th and 6 35-yard throw to Chase, I almost nailed them shutting down Jamar Chase. That would have been 5 for 40.
Mhm.
But otherwise, 6 for 75. That's holding Jamar Chase in check.
That's Chase's on a bad day.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. He did not kill the Chiefs other than that one play.
Was that Chase or Boyd
Boyd killed him.
that Burrow actually hit literally
It was
on the
Chase.
helmet?
It was
Chase
He
because
hit
it
Chase
came
in the helmet.
I mean, he's throwing dots all over the field. I mean, there was some great play from those 7th round draft picks in the secondary for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And Burrow still found a way to drill his dude right in the head.
Oh, dude.
It came right by the right ear hole of the Chiefs guy.
It's like-
and
it's like
Chase
here.
was like, holy
Hitting
crap.
me in the head as it comes this way past Tommy's
Right.
head.
It was insane. I can't believe that Burrow threw the ball there. It's amazing. And then, of course, the other thing, Samaje Perine got the TD, not Joe Mixon.
Oh, don't you hate when that happens? Killed
Crazy
you,
stuff.
Killed you in fantasy, didn't it?
It didn't help.
Because you scored 32 points this week.
no, for like 49 or 42. It was bad.
You doubled it, did you?
It was bad. That's okay. I'm on
But you
house
won
money.
last week, so you're playing a house money right now.
Yeah, and I've got a stud lineup for the
Okay.
Super Bowl.
Overall, the Chiefs deserve to win this game, no matter how much I complain about the rest, because the Chiefs were the better team. They made the plays when they were determined. They won the game. Good luck in the Super Bowl, Tobin.
Well, my big
the
thing
Chiefs
is
fans.
they've got to get that ball in the end zone in the first quarter. You can't take field goals.
Oh yeah,
At this
for
point in
sure.
the season, you can't
No.
kick field
When
goals
they
and win
kick
games.
field goals, I'm going, that's going to come back to haunt them.
Yeah, when the Bengals marched down there, I thought, all right, we've had 2 great drives and we're going to be behind.
But the key thing that we haven't addressed in this show that was totally happened in the game was Chris Jones was a monster.
Chris Jones was the MVP. of
That whole
game.
D line. I mean, Mike Dana was in the backfield, crazy hell.
That's
Kalen
because they were trying to
Saunders.
stop Jones. Jones was just
I mean, Jones, Frank Clark, Karloftis made his point. I mean, what, they have 5 sacks?
the Bengals' offensive line looked like us three trying to
2
block Chris
interceptions.
Jones.
And I remember last week somebody was telling me they weren't as good as the Buffalo D line. I don't remember who that was. I won't mention names for Doc's sake, but damn.
Yeah.
I'll readily fess up to what I said. Chris Jones made that. Chris Jones was not great. He was
He was awesome.
How fantastic was his sack where he goes back there and grabs him and just sits him down? And I'm pretty sure he whispered in his ear, "Hey, my name's Chris. I'll be back."
I'm trying to think of the as you describe Chris Jones's play, and I can't come up with one that properly describes how dominant he was.
Yeah, he was a beast.
And because he was that dominant, it made everybody else in the defensive line that much better.
This is a guy who had 0 sacks in the playoffs coming into this game.
And he was
He had 2.
an absolute man beast. I don't know what to describe him as other than just controlling, dominating, game changing. You pick the adjective that probably fits him.
Well, I like him this week. I'm not so sure I like him in the Super Bowl matchup because that's a quarterback who doesn't stay on the spot. Burrow likes to stay on the spot.
And that's also Kelsey at center.
He's not going to be lined up against Kelsey. He's going to be going against Lane Johnson. They're going to try and leverage that, I think.
I think they will too, especially with that Johnson being.
Or if he lines up wide on Jordan Mailata is actually bigger than he is.
But not near as nimble.
It'll be interesting.
Going to be a good game.
We'll shoot back to the early game. We'll go Eagles 31, 49ers 7. What'd I say? The Eagles D-line will compete and sack Purdy multiple times and force mistakes. They did it. They knocked Purdy out on the first drive. He now has a torn UCL, although he wants a second opinion before he has the surgery,
Can't blame him.
causing Josh Johnson to come into the game. And after Boston Scott got on the board, 21 yards rushing and a touchdown, he fumbled, and that led to another touchdown. Oh, excuse me. That was Miles Sanders' second touchdown. Then it led to the Boston Scott touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come back from halftime, and Sue lands on him, knocks him out in the third with a concussion, leading to Christian McCaffrey having to take Wildcat snaps. Now, we talked about this a little bit pre-show, but the best look in this whole game to me was CMC sitting on a package, some sort of
A foam roll.
crate, getting his calf rubbed down while they were trying to get him ready to be under center by handing him the wristband and telling him what plays to run. It was unbelievable.
Welcome to the NFL, where the quarterback is the best position on the a competent quarterback makes your team playoff worthy.
And Purdy had been competent up until this
Oh,
game.
If Purdy doesn't get injured, I think the game's a completely different. I think the outcome is the same by looking at how dominant the defensive line is, but the game's a lot closer, and 49ers are actually in the game, being able to maybe make a play and be able to go forward from there.
Yeah, it's a 24-17-ish something.
21-17, something like that. But Purdy got knocked out. Philadelphia's defensive line was just as dominant as what the Chiefs' defensive line was, and that controlled the game.
Yeah, now Jalen Hurts was not super effective. 121 yards passing, 39 yards rushing with a touchdown. Basically another one of those where he is shoved into the end zone. But
By 3 big people.
yeah,
And
I
he
mean,
ain't small himself.
yeah, if you can squat 500-600 pounds, you can probably pick up a goal line TD.
Yeah, but that's rolling the dice with a guy that's coming in here still at maybe 80% with a shoulder, and you're going to ram him in the end zone and ram him on 4th and short. I mean, eventually you're going to roll those dice and it's going to bite you.
He gets a week off. Come on.
Yeah,
He's in
I'm
Cabo.
I'm
Give him
just
a break.
saying, Gardner Minshew, we could see him in the Super Bowl.
you
He
might.
came out in that game.
Now you did Hurts did miss AJ Brown on a bomb TD again, which is the second week in a row. I expect that will happen in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. Brown was only 4 of 28. Brown did not do much for you, but Hurts did hit Devonta Smith on 4th and 3. That was a catch, non-catch.
It was definitely a non-catch that they got by with.
That they definitely got over with.
And that changes the whole game if the referees don't miss that one.
It does definitely impact the game because then they went right down, got a touchdown where they totally manhandled the 49ers to get Miles Sanders his first touchdown. He went on to have 42 and 2, 1 reception for 3 yards. And then we talked about the 49ers. The only offense they had was CMC. He had 84 rushing yards, an incredible touchdown run to tie the game, and 4 for 22 through the air. I think he had 2 or 3 pass attempts, no completions.
Yeah, that run, that was almost like a Barry Sanders highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Over, under, around, through, all in one play.
Looked great.
Yeah.
Oof, that was their only highlight of the day.
Their only
It's
highlight.
because they had 10 people in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put a safety back there just in case.
I mean,
one of them
their
got by.
biggest threat from a passing game was a halfback pass. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't pull that
I
out.
mean, they could legitimately put 10 people in the box with a safety back in, which is basically what they did, and control the game 100%.
I mean, as a former quarterback sitting here drawing up plays in the dirt, jet sweep, halfback pass bomb to Debo. Maybe don't crowd that box quite so much
But they
next
didn't
time.
have time to throw it because they had 10 people in the box going after the
Yeah.
guy with the ball. It was the old game of tackle the man with the football.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
Now, Purdy was perfect. He was 4 for 4 for 23 yards. He did have that key fumble that started the whole thing going off the tracks. But
So what was his QBR then?
that's
Probably
a great
112.
question. Yeah, probably like 120 something or something like that.
He didn't throw any interceptions, therefore it's going to stay. 4 for 4 is what probably a 110, 112 is going to be his QBR.
Yeah, no scores though.
We only had to look that up during the break and find out what his QBR for the game was. Overall, the Eagles won the game. They were the more dominant team, the more complete team. Going to be a very interesting Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Eagles. We'll talk more about next week.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that Eagles defense against an offense that actually has weapons, though. I mean,
Actually has a
Giants,
healthy quarterback.
Danny Nichols, 3rd string, 4th string quarterback for the Niners. That's a big difference from Mahomes, even on a leg and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, now remember, the Eagles are the number 1 pass defense.
Mhm.
You know, so I don't know. We talked about this, I think, last week when we said who is going to match up with Kelsey. I mean, I'd put either Bradbury or Slay on Kelsey.
Yeah, you got to
take
put
my
Slay in
chances.
VS.
I don't think they're going to want to flip
want-
their defense that much.
You want to keep Slay on the best wide receiver, and you're gonna cover him with the safety. We're gonna put a safety in and a linebacker and a safety covering Kelsey.
I mean, if the Chiefs do what they did this last week and slot Kelsey out wide several times to avoid the double team, then yeah, put Slay on him. But if he stays on the inside in the slot, you're just asking to get burned by an MVS or, if Tony or Hardman or any of those speed guys, Sky Moore,
Get out there.
get out wide,
If they're healthy.
toast.
Yeah, of course, we'll have the advantage by the time we start talking about this because we really won't pick this game until
Until next Tuesday.
until next week. So we'll have the advantage of knowing a little bit about what we think the game plans are going to
Oh,
be.
I can tell you who's Tobin's picking.
Well, we know who's being picked.
I'm pretty sure you're taking the Eagles,
I will take the Eagles.
and I'm thinking about cursing the Chiefs and taking them just because when I go against them, they always win.
There
So
you
if I
go.
choose them, maybe they'll lose. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
So yeah, I
Tobin's
mean,
just shaking his head.
as far as weekly picks, I went 2-0. I'm 9-3. Tobin's 1-1. He's 8-4, but he has the Chiefs alive for the Super Bowl, meaning that if the Chiefs win, he picks them next week. It's a slam dunk. He's the winner.
I feel like there needs to be an asterisk here, though, because Tommy flipped away from his Super Bowl picks last week to go
I don't
and
disagree.
poach a win.
I don't
I
disagree.
feel
He
like
should
there
be
needs to be an
1-1.
asterisk there.
It should be 1-1. I don't disagree.
Well, you're the only one with the Super Bowl pick alive.
I'm the only one who stayed true to the teams that I put in the Super Bowl last
So did
week.
I.
Yes, that's
Well,
true.
But mine got beat by yours is the reason why yours is there and not mine. Tommy's he's a traitor.
Well,
He's going to show up at the next. He's going to show up at the Commanders game next year wearing a Giants jersey watching.
Oh hell no!
He's gonna be in the Barry Bonds group, looking to get in the Hall of Fame with his asterisk. Good
There
luck,
you go.
Tommy.
That's right.
You know the bad thing
It
is,
just means I'm the greatest.
Tommy's got more hair than Barry.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he's got a little bit more.
Man, I was giving you the break there, and you didn't want to take it, did you?
Well, no, I'm also at least 10 years older than he is, I think.
I was giving you more hair than Barry Bonds, and you didn't want to run with it.
Actually, we might be the same age. Doc was 0-2 and is locked into last.
Certainly, I am.
There's something familiar.
There we go.
No. Last is usually Tommy when it comes to picking.
That's right. You did finish second in the season long, didn't you?
I dominated and owned Tommy during
That's
the
why.
season.
That's
long.
why Tommy's trying to save a
Dominated
little
and owned.
face.
Yes, this is gonna be Tommy's call. At least I won the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs.
Well, I haven't won the playoffs yet.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news and injuries just recently, like within 3 hours ago, Sean Payton looks like he's headed to Denver.
Okay, it's a done deal. Peyton and a third for a first this year. Peyton and a third next year for a first this year and a second next year.
Yep, that's right.
And-
But we don't know what Peyton's contract or anything is.
Supposedly, I read a contract that is being alluded to. He's going to get $18.5 million a year for 5 years.
Nice. It's good work if you can get it.
Wow.
In other news, Jake Plummer, the former quarterback for the Broncos, put his house up for sale in Denver for only $7.7 million. Russ says that just pays the interest and the property taxes on Russ's.
Wow.
Okay.
Good to know.
Also, just this afternoon, D'Amico Ryans to the Texans on a 6-year deal. We don't know the dollar value or anything on that one yet. But even in the locker room on Sunday, there were a lot of upset Niners. They kind of got the impression that Ryans was on his way out.
Oh, he was gone. No matter, when they lost, they were going to announce it 3 days later that he's going to become the head coach there.
And so that was another thing Tobin and I talked about pre-show, is that when Ryan said no to the Broncos, they're like, okay, we got to get this thing for Sean Payton done.
Texans getting D'Amico Ryans, you got to make them a lot better team quickly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their defense was good, not great. With Ryans, it has a potential to be very good in a weak division.
Yeah. Maybe in the weak division.
It's going to be interesting.
There's a lot of pieces that need to be out of that puzzle before the
It's gonna be
Texans are worth the
interesting
crap.
45 days to see what happens with the first round draft pick and that type of stuff as we move into the new NFL season that starts March 14th.
That's something like that.
Going to be a very interesting March at this point in time. Has NFL in March surpassed the NCAA tournament yet?
No.
Well, not the first weekend. The first weekend is the most exciting 4 days because it's just crazy wall-to-wall basketball. And there's always something crazy happening. Somebody's always getting upset. There's always a 14 beating a 3 or a 13 beating a 4.
It's getting close, isn't it?
No, it's the NCAA first weekend is still degenerate heaven.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
still degenerate heaven, but as the overall fans go, has it passed it yet?
No.
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's not big. It's not big enough. It needs more stuff. If there were trades every day and
Which there will be in March.
signings and stuff, it would get close. But it's not gonna.
It's going to
it's
be
not-
interesting.
It's not gonna stop. One of the blue bloods getting beaten by a Missouri Valley team. In Carolina, they hired Frank Reich and not Steve Wilkes. It's really strange to go back that Frank Reich's daughter was hired the day the season ended and posted on her Insta that she's so happy to be joining the Carolina Panthers family an hour and a half after their game ended. And Steve Wilkes and his lawyers definitely think that's odd.
What position was she hired for?
And something in marketing.
What's wrong with that?
So you don't think it's a coincidence that she goes to work for Carolina 3 weeks before it's announced that her dad's the head coach?
I think that if they hired her in order to be able to hire Frank Reich, they did a very, very poor job.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a
I'm not sure.
I'm only
not
coming
sure
if you
going-
hire my daughter.
I'm
Mm.
not sure I'm
Oh
going down
no,
that
I
cons-
think it's just one of those things. We know we're going to hire you. We'll hire her too. Blah blah blah.
I'm not sure I'm going down that conspiracy train at this point in time.
Okay.
It just she might have been the best person for the job, and she might be from that area. Oh yeah, she
Well,
is because
They are because he
she's
threw
lived
the
that life for
first
most of her childhood,
touchdown.
hasn't she?
He threw the first touchdown pass. Frank Reich did in Carolina Panthers
Oh,
history.
so probably she might have been the best person for the job and got it on her merits, not her dad's.
I mean, if we get to the
Okay.
bottom of this hiring gate before we get to the bottom of the classified document scandals, come on, something's wrong, folks.
Something's definitely wrong.
There's way more energy going into, oh my God, we hired his daughter 3 weeks before.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely
Than
get
the
to
rest
the
of
bottom
it.
of this
Uh-huh.
and the rest of that.
Yeah.
And the conspiracy stuff. Come on, folks.
Come on, man.
It's just getting ridiculous. I'm sorry, you hired his cousin 5 years ago. Therefore, you set the stage to hire him now
Yes.
because he cleaned toilets in the stadium. Therefore, we knew you were coming because he's nothing but shit.
Right. Speaking of other hirings and firings, Kellen Moore out in Dallas,
He gone.
moving to the Chargers.
He is the offensive coordinator for the Chargers now.
Another upgrade to the good old AFC West.
I'm not sure that's an upgrade.
No, trust me, I agree.
Now, with the past 4 years that he's been the offensive coordinator, the Cowboys have been the number 3, the number 4, the number 18, and the number 4 offense in the NFL.
Sucked.
And they went where? And how many times did they play in the Super Bowl?
But the offense
Championship
was,
game?
the
Any of
offense
them?
was way too predictable,
0.
way too unimaginative. Not what you need an offensive coordinator when you have a talent like Herbert in the backfield.
Put up numbers in the regular season and nowhere to be found in the postseason. I'll take
They
that.
won a
I'll take
game.
that in the division. We're
They
good.
won a game this year, therefore, Seth, we can play that. If you come back and you help us anytime in the future, you can play your Cowboys sounder. You've won that bet now. It only took a year to get there, but wasn't near as long as I thought it was going to be.
So, the other thing about this is who's going to be the offensive coordinator in Dallas?
Jerry Jones.
Allegedly, Mike McCarthy is going to call plays.
That means I'm drafting 0 Cowboys next year, fantasy wise.
I'm not liking my CD Lamb as much.
You gonna carry him over, are you? Oh, you own him in the sleeper league, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
Just fine, actually. He's
Until next year.
yeah. We'll see.
I'll give you a third for him.
Yeah.
As I said, that value is
Hard
plummeting.
pass.
Conditional second.
I'll give you a second if you give me Lamb and a fifth back.
No. In
Dude, I
other
just
news,
outbid you, and he said no. What a schmuck!
yeah, Vic Fangio to the Dolphins as defensive coordinator, reuniting with Bradley Chubb, who he coached in Denver. Unless he's not. Now, he keeps saying no deal is done, although today they are reporting it's going to be done. So,
Not done until he signs the dotted line.
Not done till the check's cleared.
Exactly. You never know what's going to take place.
the only other thing that's weird about this is if somehow, because reportedly Vic Fangio was going to be part of the Sean Payton deal.
Wait,
which
did they hire his daughter too?
I have no idea about that
First
one.
cousin once removed.
Yeah, well.
On the injury fronts, we talked about Brock Purdy. He has a UCL tear. He is going for a second opinion because, of course, if you can avoid surgery, let's avoid it.
Yeah, Tommy John, here comes Brock Purdy.
I have a question for you, Tobin. As a baseball player, how many quarterbacks from say 1985, pitchers from say 1985 back had a torn UCL and continued pitching the rest of their career?
Let me see. I can count them on one hand. Like without the surgery?
Without the surgery.
Not
The
very
surgery
many.
didn't come into effect until roughly 82, 83, if I remember correctly.
I mean, they might have tried, but they were washed out really fast.
Because they couldn't throw a slider, they couldn't throw a curveball.
Couldn't do
throw a
anything.
fastball.
You couldn't torque the fastball. You couldn't definitely throw a slider. They became junk ballers, spinners.
So what kept all those old pitchers so healthy?
I think it was throwing more actually. I mean, you look at back in the day, the Gibsons, the
old
Fellers,
four-man-
the
3- and
Drysdales.
4-man rotations they used to
Yeah,
have.
I mean, you're never going to see another 300 game winner.
And my point here is we had this discussion before air upon how many passes an NFL quarterback throws roughly in a season, and we came up with right around 3,000 to 3,500 during the season from game 1 all the way to game 17, an 18-week season.
And that's
That
just,
didn't
that's
include-
just game day, right?
Yeah, that was just game day. That didn't include preseason, didn't include practice, didn't include all the camps and that type of stuff. And so going back to it, I'm willing to say that there were probably some old pitchers that had torn UCLs that learned how to pitch and play with it.
Yeah, I mean, you had to learn to throw it. You know, it's the old adage of you got to learn to pitch and win with not your best stuff. Well, I mean,
it goes back to, remember the running back that from Georgia went to Denver, Garrison
Hurst.
born without ACLs. How was he that successful with ACLs in either knee?
Changed his style. He wasn't a cut guy.
Oh, he was. He was more of a scat
he was
back.
a cut guy. Yeah.
He was more of a scat back. And so maybe we're overutilizing this UCL surgery too much and we're reading too much into it. Maybe he can rehab it with extra training and extra throwing to be able to get over it. That's where I'm be interested to see what his second opinion says.
Nah, he's having the surgery. He's gone for 9 months to a year.
He's going to have the surgery. I'm guessing that this will be a Tom Brady farewell. Can it get more set up? The offensive line's better than Tampa was.
Skill positions are better than he's ever had.
Ayuk and Debo are arguably just as good as Evans and Godwin. Different, but just as good.
Kittles and CMC.
CMC is way better than Leonard Fournette.
He's better than any back he's ever had by a long shot.
Yeah.
When they had the running back that came from Cincinnati,
Corey Dillon?
Corey Dillon was pretty damn good.
No, Corey Dillon was a great runner. He was not a great passer.
He's not the package that CMC is.
That's what the NFL was when Corey Dillon was
Yeah,
there.
it's a whole different game.
It's not the game it is today.
Kittle,
Corey Dillon might have been cut out of the backfield. I don't know.
Kittle is the second best tight end that Brady's ever played with.
I mean, very different again. I mean, Gronk was that big behemoth that you just throw it up and let him go get it. And Kittle's more, hey, I'm going to spring out and run by somebody.
Throw me and I'll punish people.
Kittle is closer to the bad guy, Aaron Hernandez, in the fact that he is...
You're killing me, Smalls. Oh, wait.
He's much more fluid and is closer to being that running back, fullback type player that Hernandez was.
Yeah, and Gronk's more the bull in the china shop.
Right.
I mean, but all in all, I think that's a way better lineup and cast of characters than Tom's ever had.
I don't
at
disagree.
one time.
I agree. And the offensive line is probably the best he's ever played with.
And the defense on par with some of those great Patriots defenses.
Oh, right up there with the great one, the Junior Seau, Rodney Harrison group. Yeah, right up there. It's tailor-made to get the 49ers to another Super Bowl.
What will he take salary-wise to get there?
What does he need?
Well, he needs to recoup all that FTX money, so
I mean, what
it's gonna have to be a healthy check.
If I would set up this package, it would be for every TD 100,000, for bonuses at every 1,000 yards, and bonuses for every playoff win.
And veteran minimum, or
$1 million plus incentives, and it's just all incentive laden.
Let's go $1 million, and he throws 42 touchdown passes. That means it's 4.2 million. That's 5.2 million. He throws for 3,000 yards. There's another 3 million. That's 8.2 million.
Sure,
you're still light about half.
And
that's not near close where he's going to get.
And a half million or $1 million per win in the playoffs.
I mean, you're going to have to
make $2 million. That puts him right around 10.2, 10.3 million.
You're going to have to get north of 15, I think, to get Tommy in there.
Where else is he going to? But where else? I mean, if it really comes down to, do you want to go to the Super Bowl, or do you just want to cash a check?
Well,
and the other thing it's going to come down to is what's going to happen to Tua, because if Tua's not ready for the regular season, Brady's going to Miami, living in
across the street from Giselle,
across the backyard from Giselle and his kids, and
that'd be torturous.
And a 2.5 or 3 hour flight from New York and his other kid.
Depends on what she brings home.
Yep.
I mean, now the only other thing, if he goes to San Francisco, is mom and dad are coming to every game.
That might not be a good thing.
Hell, they can go to every game as it is.
Oh yeah,
What's
they can afford it, but I mean, otherwise it's a long trip for him. You know, I mean,
no, they'll just stay at his house.
They can move in and help with the kids when he's on the road when it's his time to have the kids. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
In the last news, Justin Herbert has surgery to his left labrum in his shoulder.
Did they fix the spare ribs while they were in there?
I wonder how the ribs are doing.
It's probably as a result of that injury that he has this injury, would be my guess. Because he's probably trying to do something to, land on his shoulder versus land on his ribs and make them worse. Who knows? And who knows when it happened.
He'll be back next year, full strength.
Now, one other thing too that was added on here that's not on Doc's notes: the Titans are moving to a synthetic surface like
Yes,
their
they
indoor practice facility. So the Titans have led the league in players used over the past 2 seasons, and their lower body injuries at Nissan Stadium are in the top 5 in the league.
They had a guy who's a high school drummer tear his ACL the exact same spot that one of the players tore the ACL during the first half, where he slipped on the field and tore his ACL.
Must have been a hell of a drum line.
Must have been. But yeah, what we talked about, was it 3 weeks ago when we talked about the field surfaces? Why doesn't the NFL mandate the same set field surface from location to location? Because we're finding out that natural grass might not be the best thing in the world, especially when in the article I read, they had, name 5 teams that I can name 5 teams that have grass fields that you never going to see grass on November, December, and January.
Packers,
Bingo. Chicago,
Bears,
Cincinnati, Cleveland.
the toilet.
Is Cincinnati grass?
Or grass.
No, Cincinnati's not grass.
It's turf.
They listed this as being grass. That's what I thought it was turf too, but they listed it as being grass.
Cleveland is,
Cleveland's grass.
and Tennessee. But the commodes are definitely one of
And
them.
you got Philly, you got Pittsburgh.
Those are both
Denver.
Pittsburgh's grass,
Denver
but it's fine.
is grass.
Denver's grass. Kansas City's grass. Kansas City's grass looked fantastic. Did you see it?
It looked okay.
No, it looked great.
How did it hold up during the play?
Pretty well.
It looked okay.
I mean, it looked better than the trade grass that's in Oakland or Arizona. Or any of those that they're sliding it out.
I think
for
they
some
should go
reason
to
that
the-
just falls apart and shoots out from under them.
The synthetic turf that they play on, that Tennessee's installing, should be the turf they put in every stadium across the NFL, no matter what.
I don't know. I kind of like having the home field advantage too.
But you can have home field advantage with weather and that type of stuff. But the footing, that you're messing with people's careers, livelihood going forward.
Well, that's what they address in the Tennessee one, is that it's too slick. It gets too slick to keep enough water on it to keep it growing and stuff like that. It just becomes too
most
slick.
NFL teams will resod their stadium at least 3 times during the season.
Oh yeah.
There's no way you develop a root structure.
Travis Hogan in Kansas City redid theirs 4 weeks ago. I mean, they finished 3 out of their last 4 on the road, and they did that with a 2-week span, and I thought it looked pretty damn good for into January in Kansas City.
Last week's looked really good, but this week's looked a little worn, and especially in the middle.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you're going to get that anywhere though. I mean, but then
Not if you have the synthetic
so
field.
the rest of the problem though is you get to like Pittsburgh where Pitt plays there too. I mean that field looks like absolute crap the entire back half of the season.
Tennessee looks like absolute crap during the late October through the end of the season, depending on what the weather's like there. It is. I am so thankful they're going to a synthetic turf compared to what they have. They filter water because it has a coconut cork base, so they filter water to keep it.
You put the
usable.
lime in the coconut. What do you say?
Absolutely.
But yeah, it'd be nice to have uniform fields from around the stadium. That way, you only have one type of cleat, that type of stuff as you go forward.
All right, we're going to jump out here real quick. Word from the sponsors, and we'll come back with some salary cap and draft stuff.
After you've listened to Warsquared and have your lineups locked in for the week, we invite you to go over and check out 3 Dogs and a Dude. It's a podcast inspired by 3 crazy rescue dogs and their dude who like having conversations with interesting people. You never know who might pop into the studio as a guest, and we guarantee some laughs. Check out 3 Dogs and a Dude wherever you get your podcasts. Indian Media Productions is your one-stop shop for all of your media creation needs. Whether it's producing a podcast like the one you're listening to, or maybe you just need some video for your social media and websites, sales and promotional videos, or even TV commercials, we've got you covered. Check us out at IndianMediaPro.com.
So, other big news is that the cap has been set to $24.8 million. Your top 51 players count plus your signing of current draft picks. So we have a effective salary cap on here. We've got to figure out some way to get this up on the Facebook and all of that, and the YouTube streams and all that stuff.
Question for you: can you name the AFC Pro Bowl quarterbacks this year?
Tyler Huntley,
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, and
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. That's right.
What jersey is Derek Carr going to wear?
The ESPN.
Yeah. Now,
I thought it was interesting that Tyler Huntley is a Pro Bowl quarterback and Lamar's not, and he's a possible free agent target
so
or transition target.
now remember, a bunch of the voting, 25% of the voting now comes from the players
Yeah, but
for the Pro Bowl.
Huntley started what, 6 games?
4.
And threw 2 touchdown passes.
Wow. I mean, it's flag football, so.
He's probably going to be pretty good at it since it's running.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we put on here is your QB tag is 32.416 for quarterbacks. The transition is 29.504. So the difference between the QB tag and the transition tag, with the regular tag you're talking about, it's 2 first rounders if you want to try to acquire them. With the transition tag, you go out and get the best offer and the team has the right to match it.
Correct.
So candidates for the QB tag are going to be Lamar and Danny Dimes.
No Tyler Huntley.
He's not eligible for a tag.
That's right. He's still a
Yeah, he'll be
on his contract.
RFA next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now the running back tag is basically 10 million or 8.4 million. That's Saquon, Josh Jacobs,
tagged,
possibly Tony Pollard.
tagged.
I mean,
They'll all 3 be tagged.
I would definitely put transition tags on Jacobs and Pollard.
I'd put one on Saquon just so I have him, so I can trade him to get something back for him.
I'd put the full tag on Saquon, and because I think they're going to work out a deal with Danny Dimes in New York, a reasonable deal. And also, I think you can sell it to Danny Dimes. Look, we're going to end up giving you $250 million. We need to be able to save some money to.
Hold on. Weren't you saying 2 weeks ago you're going to cut Danny Dimes?
Oh, I would. I don't like Danny Dimes, but they love him in New York.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to
pay the man.
Knees. They're going to pay him.
They're going to give him a 3-year, $100 million contract.
Oh, I think it's going to be more like a 5 or a 6-year, 250, 280, somewhere in that
They're
realm.
giving him 3 for 100, guarantee all of it, and then have him come back the 3rd year, prove it for us for 3 years.
The
You do it
Kirk
at that point in
Cousins.
time. Yeah,
Well,
the Kirk Cousins deal.
Good news. I'm glad they got the Empire State lit up in Eagles and Chiefs colors this week because they don't have to worry about doing it for the Giants as long as
Well, the green and
they've
white
got
might
Danny
be-
Dimes there.
The green and white might be there again next year if the Jets get A-Rods like we talked about before the show, but I doubt it.
I'm going to say
No
it's more
chance.
likely to be the Eagles again.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same thing. And can you imagine how much crap they caught for putting the Eagles on there?
Oh, they caught a ton.
They lost their minds. And so then they came back and changed it to red and white for the Chiefs, which went over just
Even
as
better.
much like a lead balloon.
Right.
Yep, even better.
The wide receiver tag, 19.7 and basically 18. Tight end tag, which I think Dalton Schultz is probably going to be hit with for the 2nd year in a row from the Cowboys, 11.3 and 9.7. Offensive line tag, remember they don't differentiate between guards, centers, or tackles. 18.2 for 16.6.
Hey, Tobin,
Orlando Brown's going to get slapped with that
is he
thing.
going to get tagged? They're going to sign
Are
him.
they going to tag him again? I think a lot of that might come down to what they think they can pick up in the draft.
See, I've seen a lot of articles say they're going to let Orlando Brown walk because they think that he is offensive. He's limited as a left tackle. In 1 to 2 years, 2 years tops, he'll be flipped to the right side to the right tackle.
And he doesn't want that. He wants to be
'Cause he
the
wants to get
guy
paid- he
on
wants
the
to get
left.
paid like a left tackle, not a right tackle.
Exactly.
The difference between the positions is about $8 million a year.
Yep. And he's a great right tackle.
Oh, he'd be a
He'd
Pro
be a
Bowl right tackle.
great right tackle, but he is not. I mean,
Nimble enough.
I've seen the body of work for a couple years now, and that's not what I want protecting $500 million back there.
I think if I was the Chiefs, I might put the transition tag on him and trade him.
Yeah, I mean, a sign and trade makes a lot of sense there.
Mhm.
But
But the team
who's going to step up and want that right now? Who has that need? I mean, there's a lot of
Bears.
teams that have the need, but do they have the money and the willingness to do it? Now, the Bears would make sense as a great trade partner for the Chiefs with Ryan Poles as the GM there now.
and getting the first pick in the 2nd round for him.
$82 million in cap space for the Bears. They can.
Get the first pick
They
in the
can start
2nd round
signing
for him
And
would make sense.
Poles and Veach, I guarantee they text every day.
We've got defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker tag, cornerback tag, safety tag. The only thing I thought about there was Jesse Bates from the Bengals. They tagged him this past year, 14.4 11.8. I think they'll at least transition tag him.
I think they're going to get a long-term deal worked out with him because he's one of those guys that can switch between a slot cornerback and a safety. They can also put him in the box and play him as in the box safety.
Now, if the Bengals are smart, they'll follow the Bill Belichick plan, which is they designated Devin McCourty as a safety and tagged him that way, and then worked out a deal with him like he was a safety, and he played cornerback.
Yep. It's kind of like Evan Ingram, tight end in name only.
Right.
Exactly.
Saves them $8 million on a potential tag.
3 yards of the line of the left of the tackle all the time. Therefore, he's a tight end, according to the Jimmy Graham clarification that came down from the arbitrator.
Yep.
Right. So then we start going through. I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed as far as with the cap space being like this. You still got crazy things. The Bears, like we talked about, they're 82 million under the cap. They have 82 million to spend. They need all sorts of help. I think they're going to start just going out there and going crazy, signing players that want to come and get paid.
They make an obvious trade team like we talked about earlier for Orlando Brown. If Orlando Brown's willing to take a contract that best fits his physical positioning in 2 years.
Well, the problem is if
You're
he's
paying
going
for
to
2 years.
take that, the Chiefs will keep him.
Yep.
If he's willing to take that, I think Kansas City resigns him. But he's not willing to take that. That's why they're at this impasse.
So you pay him for 2 years, you reduce the salary for the third, fourth, and fifth years of the contract.
He'll never
don't
sign
guarantee
it.
money during that time.
He'll never sign it.
No, he is in that I need to be paid like an elite player.
He wants to be the highest paid tackle in the game.
That's not going to happen.
And he's a
He's an
maybe
8 to
a
9.
5 to 8 kind of
He's an 8 to 9
left
guy.
tackle in the league, is my
He's
opinion.
a top tenor,
Yeah.
definitely the back half.
But he'd be a top 3 right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
He's only going to get about 11 million a year there as compared to 19 to 20 the other position.
The other one that jumps out to me, Arizona Cardinals with under $5 million of cap space, and they're going to have to cut some stuff there.
Oh, D-Hop's gone. It's just a matter of where he ends up at. Everything I've heard says in everything from Houston to Patriots to the Giants.
I can see the Patriots. He loves Belichick, and Belichick loves him.
Would you trade for D-Hop right now?
If I'm the Patriots and Aaron Rodgers is getting ready to come in my
Aaron Rodgers ain't going
division.
to your division. Okay, yes, I thought you were going to say he's going to the Patriots. I'm sorry.
No, he's probably coming to the Jets. You got to have him.
How good would D-Hop look in red and gold?
What would you trade for him
Uh,
with that contract?
with that contract, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can give higher than a third, probably.
I don't think you can give that high.
Mm-hmm. I honestly, I think he's
got
probably
1, 2.
he's long in the
top 3
tooth.
years.
I think it's a 4, maybe conditional 3,
Trade
something
your
like that.
first for their second.
No,
Drop 4 spots in the draft.
Kansas City
That's
can't give up
still
their
too
first.
much collateral, I
That's-
think.
You know why Kansas City can't give up their first? That 5th year of the contract is the reason why they can't give up their first. They have to draft probably an offensive lineman at that position.
Yeah, you
And
can't.
keep him under contract for 5 years, not 4.
I look for him to if he's available. I look for the Kansas City Chiefs to look really hard at the tight end out of Utah with that first round pick.
If he's available, yes.
If he's still on the board, he'll
Or
be
wait till next
the
year.
heir apparent to Travis Kelce.
Wait till next year and get the tight end from Georgia.
Maybe.
I still love the Raiders having $11 million under the cap, and they're going to get rid of Derek Carr in some fashion. Now, a lot of speculation here in the past few days that they will squat on him, pay him the bonus, and agree basically we're going to pay you less of your guarantee, but we're going to trade you somewhere that you want to go to after the quarterback market kind of settles.
The big rumor I keep reading is him going to the New York Jets.
I think that's where Raj ends up. I think Carr ends up back in with where his brother started in Houston.
No, I don't see that one taking place because you can't. His brother was so horrific there. You can't put another Carr under center and carry that legacy on.
I don't know.
It'd
I can
be
also
that-
see him in the Colts.
My thoughts, the Colts, and they at 5, the Colts, or at 1, wherever the Colts end up, they get the quarterback for next year, and Carr helps bridge the gap.
Yeah, go play 2 years somewhere.
If the Colts aren't in playoff contention, the rookie plays
Mhm.
late in the season. Another one that's just confusing to me, 14.4 over for the Carolina Panthers.
How are they that far over the cap?
I don't get it. I mean,
Well-
part of it is that they have,
They have
almost
CMCs
$20 million in dead money.
from
Mhm.
CMC.
Mostly 15 of it is from CMC.
Man, that. You look at these teams like we did the Giants last year and go, how can you be that bad and be that far over the cap?
Math is hard.
Now the Eagles
Player evaluation is difficult.
the Eagles are at 1.2, almost 1.2 and a half over the cap.
That's easy to fix.
But Lane Johnson and Darius Slay are going to get restructured and extended.
The Eagles are basically, from everything, all the over the cap type things I've been reading, they're like one of two or three that are like, good God, this is how you want to manage your franchise.
Oh yeah.
Them, the Niners, there's a couple others.
Them, the Niners, what was the other team? Believe it or not, the Bills popped up there, even though they're going to be overpaying for. Okay, overpaying is a relative term for Josh Allen. They're overpaying him because the position requires that much. But for one player to have that much money in your salary cap is a difficult thing.
Yeah, but just like the Chiefs, it's going back to the bank of Josh Allen's going back to the bank of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' deal is set up to give him, $20 to $25 million every year in a bonus and just keep adding years onto the back end.
Yep. That's the good thing about his contract.
Doc's Titans are $28 million over the cap. Now they have 58 players currently on the roster. They're Tannehill, Lawan, Woods,
Dupree.
I mean, that's going to knock
I can
it.
name you 5 more. They're going to be gone.
Yeah, there's just so many players that are going to be cut or restructured or
Yeah.
whatever.
The big rumor is Tannehill will not be cut from Tennessee. That he's going to restructure his deal, have absorbed a lot of that money into salary cap. His salary is basically going to drop from $15 million to $1.2 million this year, the veteran minimum, because he has all the other guaranteed money coming in. Saving Tennessee that $14 million gets the cap, which is what they basically say if they cut him and take away all the back end stuff as well. But we'll see. Tannehill was actually a good NFL quarterback last year when he was healthy, and we know that Malik Willis is not the
ready.
answer.
He's just not ready. I mean, he's got some skills. It's just
He has to do one thing.
Can he get there?
Throw the damn ball.
Yep.
Let go of the ball. But the big rumor is we're also going to be trading for Trey Lance supposedly until
That
injury to Purdy this week.
might have got Tommy John right out of action.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they sign Brady, see you later, Trey.
Yeah. The Packers $20 million over. We're looking at Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones being traded or cut here.
A-Rod being traded this year saves them,
$31 million.
makes that a relative number, doesn't it?
I could see them restructure Jones to try and keep the Jones-Dillon tandem in place if he's willing to work with them.
Yeah.
Why not just cut him, let him go and draft somebody?
Yeah, I mean he's at that level where it's get a new body in there. I mean, it's going to be a totally revamped team if it's Jordan Love and the two rookies. So why not go total inexperience and just roll something out there that nobody's seen before?
Because Bakhtiari's gone.
Yep.
You can name
He'll-
2 other people that are gone.
Tunyon,
Yep.
Cobb, all those guys. Tampa Bay 58.2 over the cap. I can't even. I mean, Doc said, yeah, they can cut Brady's number down to 10
I
million.
actually
But
went over the cap and got them underneath the cap, but basically gutted the complete team to be able to get there because they can cut Brady or after June 1st. He becomes a $10 million cap hit this year, not $35 million, with that other 25 being spread over the following 2 years, which I'm not sure if I just don't go salary cap hell, cash it all in, cut everybody, move forward, or trade everybody for whatever I can get.
Who the hell's running their cap? Is Bernie Madoff in charge down there? Holy crap.
Well,
well, it wasn't an F them picks. It was a F that cap and
The hell
pay
with the
everybody.
future. Let's do it now.
well,
Right.
that's the problem. Brady went there and goes, I want this person, I want that person, I want this, I want that.
Right.
And
they're
basically
stuck
let
with
the team-
Julio.
Yeah, they're paying Julio $14 million on the cap this year, if I remember correctly. And I could be, I can't guarantee it's 14. Tom Brady's basically become LeBron James. I want to come here, but I want all these players to come here. Therefore, we got to trade everything away to get him, and we're going to suck for the next 10 years after we leave.
Yep.
That's what he's done to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, maybe he buys them back and becomes the owner on the cheap then when they suck.
That's a distinct possibility.
So you're looking at the Vikings at almost 26 million over the cap. They've got veterans that they're probably going to cut. Jacksonville is 25 million over the cap, but a lot of that is going to be restructures or cuts with players that just don't fit their system currently.
That's another team you look at and go, how the hell are you that far over the cap?
Now, see, the Giants, we talked about them last year. The Giants were way over the cap at the start of last year. Right now, they're 41 million with
And that's still
cap
with Galladay on the roster.
but that's also without Danny Dimes or Saquon.
Yeah, that's eaten up pretty quickly if those two
We
resign.
talked about the Bills. They're 22.4 over the cap. Lots of restructures, extensions, and cuts. Of course, they can always go to the bank of Josh Allen. This is the year that the Bengals, we were talked about them with T. Higgins, 33.5 of cap space. Only 41 players signed.
How much of that 33's got to go to Burrow, though?
None. He's still on his rookie deal. This is his fourth year. That'll be his fourth year coming up. So
He
he'll
is
still be on the
eligible
rookie
for
deal.
the extensions.
But it won't
He'll
affect
get a
this year.
season 6.
It'll be light because whatever money they give him will hit a portion of this based on however long they extend him for.
Right.
You know, and really they're smart to sign him now and get 2 years of
Cap relief from it.
cap relief as they spread the bonus over these 2 years.
Yep.
New Orleans just traded in from Denver, 62 million over the cap.
I couldn't get them under the cap with having anybody on the roster whose names you recognize.
Yeah, I
They were in salary cap hell last year, and now they're still in salary cap hell. Who's running their?
Well, the good news is they're not going to have to worry about Kamara's salary this year.
Yeah, but who's running their contractual negotiations?
Bernie Madoff's
Yeah.
daughter.
Jim Carrey out of the Yes Man.
it's the craziest
Man.
thing.
I'll give you a 5-year, $100 million contract. Yes, I'll give you this. Yes, I'll give you that.
Well, Oprah Winfrey, you get a contract. You get 100 million. You get 100 million. Everybody gets 100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then we talked about Miami. They're almost 23 million over the cap with only 44 players signed. Byron Jones is a definite cut there. I think he's 12 million is the savings. We talked about the 49ers. They've got 3.35 in cap space. They're going to be great. Now we'll jump over real quick on our last couple of minutes here. I went through a way too early top 5 fantasy wise for players. My QBs will be Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert.
Can't argue.
My running backs, CMC, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker.
I dropped Saquon Barkley out and put Breece Hall in.
It'll all depend on how he comes back.
Yeah. I wanted to leave Kenneth Walker as mystery player because there's always somebody that comes out of nowhere, but Kenneth Walker was cleared down like at 9 or 10. And so I thought maybe he's that guy who really takes a jump next year. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown. Why is Cooper Kupp in here?
That was going to be my question.
Because before the last weekend of the season, he was the number 17 wide receiver in PPR. He finishes the number 22, and he didn't play past week 10.
Okay, who's going to be his quarterback?
Yeah, that's the question.
Who the
Who's
hell
throwing the ball?
cares? It didn't matter whether Stafford was in there or not. He was still putting up numbers.
See, I dropped Cooper Kupp and put Jalen Waddle there
You are insane.
because I'm waiting to see what Cooper Kupp comes back from as far as not only the injury, but also what the team looks like next year. Who's going to be play quarterback? Who's going to be in the key position in the offensive line?
I'll still roll the dice on Cooper Kupp. At tight end, we go Travis Kelce. I go TJ Hawkinson next based on what he did down the stretch with Minnesota. Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert.
Can't argue.
Yeah,
And
the only concern with Hawkinson is what's going to be around him.
Yeah, and
in Minnesota.
I might put Schultz in there rather than Goddard, but I think Goddard's going to be the better tight end for them for the next.
The only thing I know what Philadelphia will look like next year. I have no idea what the offense is going to look like in Dallas. So I'm super concerned.
Well, you know Dak's going to be there, which means it's not going to be good.
It's going to be Green Bay 2.0.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
3 yards in a cloud of dust, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, throw the ball.
At kicker, I went Carlson, Tucker, Brett Maher, Nick Folk, Jason Myers.
You think Maher found his brain or left it somewhere?
I
Or
think Maher kicked his brain.
I don't
No,
know.
he missed.
does he
Never mind.
recover from that?
When he has the second most 40 and 50-yard field goals.
I agree, but the Shanks don't just leave.
See, I put Evan McPherson in here rather than Jason Myers.
Oh, the only reason McPherson's not in there for me is partly
Number of
because because of where Marr kicks. He's indoors over half his games.
Okay.
For
I mean, they're
defense-
kickers. Move along.
Yeah.
Defense, Patriots, Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Bills. That's basically just how they finished this year. I don't see a lot of that changing.
No, that because those defenses basically come back intact next year.
And New England has led in defensive scores over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And my top 12, so basically my first round would look like this: Jefferson, CMC, Jamar, Eckler, Kupp, Kelsey, Devontae, AJ Brown, Saquon, Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, Kenneth Walker.
Okay, 2 questions for you. Where's Saquon Barkley going to be playing at next year?
I'm assuming it's with the Giants.
Okay, how about Stephon Diggs?
I'm assuming it's with the Bills. I don't think he's going to get cut.
One question for you. Is Rossley in your league? Because this is not going to hold if it is.
That's 100% accurate.
That is true. Josh Allen will be in there wherever Ross is at.
The other thing, I still Cooper Kupp. I think okay. Cooper Kupp is a outstanding wide receiver, but of all the people on this list, he's the one with the most question marks coming into next year.
Yeah, I don't think you can have him at 5. I think he's back end of the first round, maybe.
He's 11, 12, maybe more likely 14, 15, 16.
You just don't know. That's the hard
Unless
part.
Tommy's drafted, he's going to draft him number 5.
I don't know, but if I'm going to base it on what I think is going to happen, that's where Cooper Kupp should be.
I mean, there's a lot of variables there. I could see a Waddle. I mean, you don't have Tyreek listed here anywhere. There's a lot of guys in there that you could mix in there. I mean,
because I don't know what's going to happen with.
yeah, but
Miami.
you don't know what's going to happen in LA. Just the same
I
argument. You
I
just
haven't-
made it for yourself.
Yeah, I have an idea of what I think is going to
Well,
happen.
do you have an idea on Miami or just?
Well, my idea is that it's going to be some form of Tua and a backup, and that Tua is not going to make it, and it's not going to be Tommy.
But you think Stafford's going to make it? He's got more concussions. How are you doing that math?
I forgot.
Because I really
Hand him
what
some fingers so he can
what
do
I
math and
really
add this
think-
up.
What I really think is that the Rams will sign Baker as their backup.
That's going to help.
Yeah, that's so helpful, isn't it?
Please God, yes. The NFC West is going. Yes, please. Thank
And-
you. Cardinals might win a game.
And Baker is competent enough to get it to Cooper Kupp.
Maybe. Not if he's all he's got.
Yeah, what other
I mean,
weapons?
there's
you can have
nothing
there?
else. Those
There ain't
cupboards
nothing.
are awful bare.
Old Mother Hubbard called. There ain't nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is the Rams are over the cap. There's going to be a decision made on Aaron Donald, whether or not he's going to retire.
He's
and
going to
then
play
we
instead.
think that my belief is Jalen Ramsey gets traded again.
Oh, there's no doubt he gets traded.
or cut.
Well, more than likely cut because they're not going. No team's going to meet what the Rams want to be able to trade for Jalen Ramsey. He's that horrible. And who's going to be their offensive line?
It didn't matter. Their offensive line sucked while Kupp was there.
Yeah. See, I think you have Kupp. I don't want to say bad things about Kupp because oh my God, is he an incredible wide receiver? He's going to go somewhere between. Unless you're drafting him in the first round, he won't be a first round draft pick.
Good. I mean, I hope nobody drafts him in the first round.
And I think that Stephon Diggs drops, and I think Saquon Barkley drops, depending upon where their situation's at, especially Stephon Diggs, where
I agree with you that Stephon does have an issue.
and I put Jalen Waddle back where Stephon Diggs is at.
He does. I would not put Jalen Waddle anywhere close to there, and I definitely wouldn't put him in front of
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Okay, then Tyreek Hill's got to be there rather than Stephon Diggs. I think next year Jalen Waddle's going to be a better fantasy player than Tyreek Hill.
No chance.
Gonna be interesting. Hey, your top 5 for the playoffs.
We're not going to do top 5 for the playoffs because we'll do that next week when we actually do the game picks and all that stuff. Cooper Kupp's average was 22.27 fantasy PPR points.
I'm not saying he's not a great player. I think you've got him ranked too high coming off of injury with all the question marks on that offensive side of the ball. Now, if they get all answered going into next season, late first round draft pick, he might move up 5 picks.
And was Russ the problem or is Hackett the problem? Because Hackett's going over there.
Hackett's going to the Jets.
Yeah, Hackett's with the
Did
Jets.
Hackett
now.
go with the Jets?
Yeah.
Hackett's with the Jets.
Okay.
That's why A-Rod to the Jets is
Okay.
a thing.
Just like A-Rod.
Who was it that McVay wanted somebody? Who's McVay going after?
He wanted-
I thought it was Hackett.
Oh no,
No,
it was LaFleur who came from the Jets.
Yes.
Yep. Who he signed,
Again,
by the way.
is that going to get better?
Well, Matt LaFleur, remember, worked under McVay at the Commodes,
Right.
when they
he
were
was the
actually
offensive
the
coordinator
Redskins.
for the Titans before he became the head coach at Green Bay.
Yeah, but how does that translate? I mean, whole new offensive scheme.
Well, give him a
Oh,
couple.
it's not a change in scheme. It's the same scheme. It's just the Sean McVay scheme, just coached by a different.
Yeah,
with a little bit more imagination, because
maybe.
they're all, when Brees Hall was healthy, the Jets had a heck of a good offense. They had a top 10 offense when he was healthy, even with the low son of the MILF Hunter.
Okay.
All right, with that, we're going to be out of here. We'll see everybody next week for lead in to the Super Bowl and an Eagles win.
And an Eagles win he finishes with. Oh, my
Wow,
Lord.
that was kind of a cheap shot, wasn't it?